Today I will create a text animation template to be used in Premiere. I want to create a box behind it so that it automatically adjusts to the size of the text. So to begin with, we need to create a text layer. You can input any text, it will be used as a template. I'd recommend use a mix of pointing up and pointing down characters so you see better the limits of your text box. You can also adjust the font and size of your text. I will now create a basic shape by double-clicking on the rectangle icon in the menu bar. Remember when doing this to make sure no layer are selected in the timeline, otherwise it will make a mask on your layer rather than a shape layer. Change the color of the shape to something of your liking. I want some soft blue. Now drag the layer under your text and reveal the size property of the rectangle. So this is where we want to create an expression. So we will Alt-click on the stopwatch and this will bring the expression window. First thing is to create a variable to store our text layer. We need to reveal the source text property of a text layer and create a variable. I will call it T because I like short names. But feel free to name it whatever you like. Now link the variable to the source text property using the Pickwhip. From now on this particular expression, when we call the variable t, it will always refer to the text string from that precise layer. The expression language in After Effects is based on JavaScript, and in JavaScript we call a string an input of n characters. Therefore, when talking about text, we will call it a string. Please take a look at the website below for extensive reference. The property we are working on is an array of 2. It has 2 values, one x and one y. The result of our expression, therefore, needs to be an array of 2. We will type in between brackets and use t in the x and value 1 in the y. Value 1 refers to the default value in y. This means it will still take the value we will manually input. If we validate our expression now, it will return an error. This is because we are feeding a string into the array, while it can only process numerical values. We need to tell how to interpret the string. For that purpose, we will use the function length. It will count the number of characters in our string. Now you can see in x a value has appeared returning the number of characters in the string, including spaces. We now need to determine the median size of a character. I'll evaluate mine to 40, but that depends on the font and the size of your text. So you might want to adjust it later on. I now multiply it to the string length. We now have a box of the same size. I want to add margin to the right and the left of the box. To do so, I'll just add 2 characters to my string, like this. We need to do some manual adjustments to match the vertical size of the box. First, change the y of the rectangle, then adjust the position in y to match the text position. It's now time to use your designer skills and create a style that you like. You can change the text in the text layer now and see the magic operate. You will notice one limit to this method. The size of the text box is not accurate. This is because we are using a median size for each character. An I, for instance, takes less space than an A. This means that a string containing more I will generate a box with larger margins. I will show you a new method available in CC 2014.2 that will give us the exact size of a string. But first, let's jump into Premiere to see how well our template works. First, we need to open the composition settings and toggle on the template parameter. Now save your project and fire up Premiere. Make a new project using default settings and create a default sequence. Import your comp using the browser and open it in the source monitor. You will find a text input box in the Effect Control tab. Change it and see your text being dynamically updated. Now this is important to remember. You can edit the text only when in the source monitor. So now duplicate the comp, create a few more titles and drop them in the timeline. Each time, switch back to the source monitor to edit the text. Let's animate the text while keeping the box static. Back in After Effects, if I apply the default type-in animation preset, you can see the box size does not change while the text fades in. After saving, if I switch back to Premiere, I can see all my titles will automatically update using the new animation. Let's talk about the new method introduced in AE13.2. You can have a look at the link below detailing how to access the dynamic layer bounds. And that's just what we're about to do. All we need is this function, sourceRectAtTime. What this will do is return the size of the layer in time. If you input a value in between the brackets, it will point to a specific time. If empty, it will point to the current time. This function can return 4 values: top, left, width, and height. We are only interested by the width here, so let's replace the length function in our expression by the new one. We don't need to multiply it anymore by the median number, as we will obtain the exact size of our text layer. But we might want to keep some margins. Now, each time we edit our text, the box resizes automatically to the same size. Let's save our expression as a preset so we can easily recall it on a later project. That's all for today. You can also check Motion Boutique script to create non-dynamic boxes using an older method at the link below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Pickwhip channel to keep updated with the latest tutorials.